Below is a fuller, roughly 3-minute read on President Trump's demand that the Washington Commanders revert to Redskins and his threat to stall their RFK Stadium deal if they refuse. Chapter 1. Trump's demand and stadium ultimatum. On Sunday, President Trump used his Truth Social platform to urge the Washington Commanders to immediately change their name back to the Washington Redskins. He went further, warning that if the franchise does not comply, he may put a restriction on them and refuse to greenlight their plan to build a new stadium on the RFK site in Washington, D.C. The timing matters. Timing matters. The Commanders ownership group, led by Josh Harris, clinched RFK land control from Congress in January, but still needs D.C. Council approval to move forward. Trump's implication is that he would withhold any federal cooperation, though legally land now belongs to the district, not the federal government. Why the name change happened in 2020. Public and corporate pressure. Native American groups, advertisers, and even some politicians had long criticized Redskins as a racial slur. Ownership pivot. After years of resistance, then-owner Dan Snyder quietly retired the name in 2020. The team spent 2 seasons simply as the Washington football team before rebranding as the Commanders in 2022. Guardians parallel. Trump also called on the Cleveland Guardians to revert to Indians, despite that MLB franchise having deliberately relaunched their brand 4 years ago for similar reasons. Number 3. Legal and political reality. Federal versus local authority. Though the president oversees federal property, RFK Stadium land now falls under the district's 99-year lease. Any stadium deal hinges on the D.C. Council and local zoning, not directly on the White House. Political leverage. Trump's statements are best viewed as a political signal to his base, reviving Make America Great Again nostalgia rather than an enforceable policy edict. Sponsor considerations. Major corporate partners FedEx, Nike, Ford, etc. backed the 2020 name change. A return to Redskins likely risks endangering those relationships. R4. What's next? D.C. Council hearings begin July 29th. Public testimony will address economic impact, local benefits, and community input. A name-based condition would be unprecedented and face stiff resistance. Team response. The Commanders have so far declined to comment on Trump's ultimatum, focusing instead on financing, design, and timeline for a modern stadium back in the city. Fan sentiment. While some nostalgic voices still pine for Redskins, polls and social media analysis show broad support for Commanders and wariness about resurrecting a name denounced as a slur. Bottom line, President Trump's call to reinstate Redskins and his threat to stall a federal stadium arrangement are certain to dominate headlines. In practical terms, however, the district's elected officials and the franchise's corporate partners hold the decisive sway over any RFK redevelopment, and they have all signaled commitment to the Commander's identity.